Hey everyone, Tony here. I'm going to show you guys a few more Japanese cards today. Let's start off with some Hideki Matsui, uh, as you and I know, aka Godzilla. And this is an awesome card from 1997 BBM. Just a really fun, cartoony card of the actual Godzilla chewing on Matsui's head. so, um, there he is on the back, looking quite young. So, yeah. Matsui, he's one of those guys. He was recently inducted into the Japanese Hall of Fame. His combined numbers, of course, are Major League Cooperstown worthy. Of course, I'm not saying he should be in Cooperstown because the Major League only numbers are, of course, not there. But Matsui's, his combined numbers are quite impressive. And I think he's one of those guys where most people aren't really aware of how good he actually was. And I mean, he did come to the Yankees. He became a pretty big star on that team, capped his career, or at least the meaningful career, the meaningful part of his career with the Yankees, right? Capped it with a World Series and a World Series MVP. Um, but of course, combined numbers, he's 500 home runs club, and he's also a big time RBI guy. Matsui's combined RBI total is almost 1,700, which I guess comes with the territory of being a big time slugger, 500 home runs combined and stuff like that. But, I was even a little bit wow when I saw the RBI total. And I get it. Like, I know it's RBIs. It's like a boomer stat, and it doesn't really matter that much. But hey, I think he had 1,650 something. I know on the all-time RBI list, that's good for about 30th place all time. If you use his, of course, combined RBI totals, he's sandwiched between Tony Perez and Ernie Banks. Just something to chew on. So this card is awesome. This is the 98 BBM, but this is the signature parallel, silver signature parallel. I think this is just a really, really awesome looking card. So, gotta love that back too, with like the baseball with like electricity around it. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys a couple more 93 BBMs. Now, I did a video recently of like where it talks about like other cards in the set. So you see a certain set, but it's usually represented by this one really classic card that everybody knows about and sees and shows and things like that. And in the case of 93 BBM, that is definitely the Ichiro rookie from this set, and maybe to a lesser extent the Matsui rookie. But here's a couple other ones. This is Tatsunori Hara, who is the current Giants manager, but was, of course, and as is typical for the Yomiuri Giants, a former star player for that team. Hara was a great mainstay in the infield for the Giants. He, of course, coming sort of after the Sadaharu Shigeo Nagashima era. He isn't, he doesn't have quite that status, but he was quite the player. And then, like I said, he's also the manager. And the Giants do this a lot. I've said in other videos that I think in Japan, the status of the manager, here's Nagashima, by the way, and this is, so in 93, he was the manager. So as I was saying, the status of the manager, I think, is a little bit more elevated in Japan. The manager is kind of a bigger deal. And as I have said before, I think in Japan, managers are very often, they are hired with the heart rather than the head. So in the case of the Giants, right, you get a lot of former players who get a chance at managing the team to varying degrees of success. Sadaharu O himself was not a particularly spectacular. He didn't see particularly spectacular success when he was the Giants manager. But okay. Speaking of O, this is a kind of a nice segue into this card. Check out this Colby. This is 81 Colby. Yeah, 81 Colby of Sadaharu O as an assistant manager at this time. And this card, I freaking love this card. I mean, I love that he's wearing the dugout jacket, and even the he's got the Adidas batting glove, but you can see the Adidas logo, and it's kind of just a nice little touch. So, great card here. And then finally, I want to show you another 80s Colby card, and this is of a foreign player who became big in Japan, as they say. So. That player is Boomer Wells. Now, Boomer Wells, you probably haven't even heard of him before because he didn't have much of a major league career. He played, I want to say 50 total games at the major league level, 50 or so with the Toronto Blue Jays and the Minnesota Twins. The Twins sold him to the Hankyu Braves in Japan, in the Pacific League. But I'm gonna rewind a little bit. So Boomer Wells, he was a two-sport athlete. He played baseball and football, and in fact, he was drafted by the New York Jets. But he was injured in spring training, and that ended his football career. But I read an interview with him, and he said, that I just learned at that time that I was a better baseball player than I was a football player anyway. So it all worked out. So like I said, he played a handful of games for the Jays and the Twins, and then the Twins sold him to the Hankyu Braves. Of the Pacific League, Wells became pretty immediately a big star. I think he led the Japanese baseball in RBI 4 times, I want to say. But he won a Pacific League MVP, and he won a Triple Crown. So, it's just one of those things where he got a bit of a second chance after some setbacks. He started his major league career pretty late, and I don't know if that's partly because of football and things like that, but then, he got a second chance and became a star. So, Boomer Wells, not a name you probably hear much, but really great player over here. So, there's the back for you. All right, guys, as always, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Peace.